Hey, Jim Jackson, Bill Jackson Ford here in Troy, Alabama, where not only can you get the best price on a new Ford, but we can also get you exactly what you're looking for. We all know inventories are low right now, but don't settle for something you don't love. Come by Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, Alabama, and let us walk you through the retail order process and get you exactly what you're looking for. So come see us at Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, Alabama, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
It's Ford Truck Month. America, you know what to do. Now's the time to get after the best deals on Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 45 years straight. Also, great offers on Ford Ranger and the new Ford Maverick. Ford Truck Month is here, so let's get after it. Get 0 for 60 plus up to $1,000 bonus cash plus a no-charge 3-year Ford Protect Premium Maintenance Plan on F-150.
The all-new Troy Regional Women's Diagnostic Center brings all of the latest and advanced 3D mammography and breast ultrasound services to the Troy area in our all-new outpatient facility. Dr. Lauren Thorington, along with our team of certified breast specialists, read your mammograms, which are performed by our registered radiologic technologists, bringing the best in women's health care to the Troy area. Troy Regional Women's Diagnostic Center.
Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name is Mike Amos. His name is Bill Rice Jr. and his name far to my left is Forrest Lee as we start a Tuesday on our show. Good morning, young men. How are things going?
It's the 26th. Isn't it the 26th of April?
Yeah, that's right. We're actually celebrating the 26th of April. What's going on with Forrest?
Well, let's see. First of all, Charles Hudson High School softball girls will have their senior day today. They play Ayrton, the Purple Cats, from down there just below 231, and I think that's a 4 o'clock pitch.
Who's your coach, Forrest?
My coach, their coach is Khadijah Neely at Charles Hudson High School. You know, the ladies softball, and then today. Right. Pike Liberal Arts golf team, they're coached by Gene Allen. They're in the AISA state championships at the Links at Auburn, is that the name of it? Near the airport, and they have 4 golfers in the top 8. They have about a 12 or 13 stroke lead over Lakeside. And in the individual girls competition, they have 2 girls in the top 3. Abby, I'm trying to think of her last name. It's not Abby Peters. Abby Meadows, I believe her dad's was a football coach at Troy University.
Yeah.
And she's leading the girls division, and Molly Kate Jordan, I think, is in 3rd place, 2nd or 3rd place. But for the boys, I know Peyton Jacobs is scoring well. Jackson Cleveland is scoring well. Ford Hussey, who's an 8th grader.
Yeah.
Jace Calhoun and Braden Presswood. Those 5 or 6. You know, they're in the mix to win it all, and you know, some of them are teeing off in about an hour. They're teeing off 30 minutes earlier in case of the weather. You know, they're expecting some rain.
Really?
So those 2 things are going on, you know, locally. And I came on to talk about the results that we had for our 3D tournament that we held at Pike Liberal Arts Cafeteria this past Friday and Saturday.
Archery. This is archery.
And archery. And I want to thank Troy Elementary School, Parker Reeves, for lending us the 3D targets. We had 8 targets. Everybody got to shoot 3 arrows per animal, a total of 24 arrows. Highest points you could score was 240. But in the girls division, 4th and 5th grade, Bailey Wooten won with a score of 167 out of 240. Reagan Chandler was 2nd, and Addison Copeland was 3rd. In the girls' 6th, 7th, and 8th division, Emma Faircloth from Pike Liberal Arts was 1st. Carly Henderson was 2nd from Pike Lib, and Ivy Floyd from Pike Lib, she was in 3rd place. In the high school girls, 2 girls from Charles Hudson High School finished 1 and 2. Hope Shalanson shot a 197. She was the top overall female shooter. And Jordan Ogle-Clark is a sophomore, and they both represented Charles Hudson High School. I had some girls from Banks, Jocelyn Shank, Destiny Zellers, Ella Corbett, Carolyn Shank, and McKinley Zellers. They came from Banks and competed. But the thing about Hope and Jordan, I coached them years ago.
Really?
Yeah, but in the boys division, we had two kids in the second and third grade asked could they shoot. I said, sure. Zane Brookins finished first, and Brody Golden finished second. In the fourth and fifth grade, the highest score of the tournament, Stinson Paul, he loves ketchup. He shot a 205 out of 240.
Wow.
Nathan Jeffcoat, Miss Frances Roten Ketchum Jeffcoat. I mean, Miss Frances, that's her grandson. He and Carter Goolsby actually tied with 186, but Nathan had more tens than Carter. J.D. Vaughn was fourth. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade boys from Charles Henson Middle School, Khalil Gray finished first. Sean Alexander and Christian Cobb finished second, third, respectively, both from Pike Liberal Arts. And then the open division, didn't have any high school boys to shoot. In the open division, Jeremy Matthews, Mr. Matthews, shot a 126. John Smothers was second. Todd Copeland was third. Richard Henderson was fourth, and Norman Newsom was fifth. I competed, but I was not competing. I shot a 194. But I want to thank, again, Troy Elementary School. We had 43 archers to shoot, and plus parents and grandparents donated about $350. We made almost $800 in that tournament, and that goes to help buy equipment. You know, the arrows are very expensive. The targets, we want some more racks. There's just things we need to upgrade your equipment, and our PTO is fixing to buy us a set of 3D targets.
That's wonderful.
So we can have our own and have more events.
Well, you got a good program already. Take it to the next level.
Well, it's picking up again here at Pike County, and I want to thank Banks Middle School, Mrs. Kimberly Head, and they brought like 62. They host the regional here in Troy, and they brought like 62 archers to the regional, and you know it's picking back up because of COVID.
You're gonna have it back where you want it for long. Of course, this show is brought to you by Beeline. You know, I say this: take a beeline to the donut hole, and ladies and gentlemen, we've got a delicious bunch of donut holes that we've been.
Thanks to Coach Lee.
He does it all the time. He brings all of these delicious donut holes, and this time from the Trojan Donuts. And boy, I tell you, if you want the best donut in town, go to Trojan Donuts. It is wonderful.
Mine are gone.
What now?
Mine are gone already.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
While Forrest was giving us the rundown on the top archers, I was finishing my Trojan Donuts.
And Forrest Lee, my good friends, and you know, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, these guys have been so consistently supportive of my show, and I appreciate them very much. Of course, Forrest, anything else going on at the two schools? You sort of keep an eye on both schools.
He does.
Well, it's not too late for parents out there to get certified. There's going to be a certification clinic here at the Sportsplex this Thursday from 8 to noon. You can go online and register, go to the National Archery in Schools program. You can register to be a volunteer as a parent or if you're a teacher. But there's, you know, a lot of things going on at all schools. You know, spring football. Talked to Coach Moore this morning. I think spring football starts at Goshen pretty soon. They're going to play New Brockton in the Jamboree coming up. And
you know, he's going to build a program. You know, they were off this year, and you know, it takes a lot of depth in your program. And right now, they're just now building their team up to give them enough depth to put a team on the field. Isn't that right?
Well, sure. And I'll give you an example of that too. Well, that Goshen, I think they had 3 seniors. I think they had 4 juniors. That's right. And when Trinity rolls in and they got like 30 juniors and seniors, it's hard to compete. And it's like, I'll give you an example at softball at Pike Liberal Arts. You know, Robin Snyder's out there. He has 1 senior. I think he's got 4 juniors, 1 sophomore, maybe 1 freshman, and the rest are 8th and 7th graders. So
I know that is unreal. You're right. And Robin, Is their season over now?
No, I think they're starting the playoffs. And,
Okay.
Pike Liberal Arts baseball starts the playoffs Thursday at home, a doubleheader against Clark Central, Clark Prep rather, and then the game 3, if needed, will be played Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen,
I
if
don't
you
know what
did,
time it starts.
if they didn't hear me yesterday, I'll let you know again that Drew Nelson pitched a perfect game against Lee Scott at Lee Scott. That is phenomenal, isn't it?
It's phenomenal, yes.
You know,
He's a good outfielder and hitter too.
well, he's also, you're right, a great defensive player, a great hitter, and of course he's a great pitcher that's got a change-up that a lot of pro players would love to have.
And he was a excellent basketball player too.
Oh,
On
yeah.
the state championship basketball team.
And
I believe he was probably could have been the best quarterback the last 2 years.
I probably could
Was
have.
he,
Yeah.
that lefty stuff.
Oh yeah, he's a great athlete, and of course I know his mom and daddy are proud of him. Of course, he's already committed to play.
Build a bowling alley,
play
he'll be
it.
a great bowler.
That's
Put
right.
in Morgan.
You're right. He's about to be about as good.
Morning.
Mike Amos, we were just talking about Drew Nelson. Mike, he's getting ready to throw another big gem at this time at
Clark Prep.
Clark Prep in the second
Playoffs.
round
Now
of the playoffs.
this is do or die right here. This is when you got to get serious.
What's going on with you, Mike, at Graydon Beach?
I would say Pike Liberal Arts is the overwhelming favorite to win another state championship in baseball.
Well, I think this Glenwood team, Mike, is a team that has beaten Pike Liberal in the regular season, so they're going to be pretty tough competition, I think. But you better.
I'll be talking about Eli Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion.
Oh yeah, that was the exciting news that I was keeping up with yesterday. That
$44 billion.
I'm going to exit left, but hey,
Well,
Michael, I
glad
got to
to
go.
have you.
Thank y'all for having me real
Thank you
quick.
for our donuts and.
Yeah, man.
Go
Anytime.
Patriots.
Hey, you're welcome
Yeah.
anytime as long as
Breakfast
you
hors
bring the
d'oeuvre.
donuts. As long as you bring the donuts.
See
All right.
Thank you.
Well, appreciate Forrest Lee joining us this morning.
I'm gonna
Talk
give
to
Mike
us
some
about-
more room. Have a good one.
And Mike, how's everything at Graydon
So
Beach, Florida?
what did we find out about Nelson? Was it a no-hitter? Was it a perfect game? He struck out 18 or 17? Have we got any stats yet?
No, I haven't gotten any yet, but I know
Maybe
for a
somebody
fact.
can call the show and let us know.
I would hope Billy would.
Of course, we were talking yesterday. Alabama is bringing in more and more guys out of the transfer portal, and now I'm reading about a tight end out of Utah they might bring in, a couple other guys they might bring in.
That would be
Good
amazing.
morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, Bill and Mike, this is Billy Hickson.
Hey, good to hear from you, Billy.
Your ears are burning.
Well,
How's everything going, Billy?
it's going good. How y'all doing?
Well,
Good, great.
you're a celebrity after your you and Laura's Troy Life feature story.
Yeah, that was a great picture of you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was a slow news week, I guess.
Well,
Kill some space with.
well, I don't know. I wouldn't say that because
It's a good feature.
Laura takes a good picture. I promise you.
Yeah, I kind of overmarried a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll
yeah.
keep your coverage.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So
if you want to know what we're talking about,
The big answer, though, is we're trying to find out, did Nelson throw a no-hitter or did he throw a perfect game?
He threw a no-hitter.
Okay, that's what I thought, a no-hitter.
He walked the first, or not the first two batters. He walked two batters in the first inning and then proceeded to strike out the next 18.
Oh my God! He struck out 18 in a row.
Yeah, they did not put
Oh,
him
my
off.
God.
It was-
That's even more impressive now. 18 in a row?
yeah, he didn't.
he struck out 18 in a row.
Yeah, and I was there. I was right there behind the backstop, and it was fun to watch. That first inning, he couldn't. He kept slipping on the mound. It wasn't just right, and he was having to adjust some stuff. And he ended up walking those two, and then he finally got everything going. And they didn't have a chance after that. It was.
Well, I reckon y'all went back and you had a big party at the barn. You reckon?
Well, not then, but I'm feeding the baseball team tonight.
Oh, yeah, at the barn.
So.
What are you feeding them?
Some Hickson Farms beef.
Oh man, okay. So steaks.
Well, no, I'm not going to feed them steaks. I'm just feed them hamburgers.
And I get to you, it'll be good. But now, doggone, Hickson Farms is a long ways out there in the country.
It's not that far now since we've got cars to ride on.
Yeah. Hey, I'm showing a picture of you and Laura, and I know y'all are awfully proud to support this team. You know, it just so happens their son is a coach. You're much involved in it though as anybody. Isn't that
and
right?
you got your other son is the assistant coach and the JV coach or something, isn't he? Or does he help?
No, he's an assistant coach on varsity.
Yeah.
He's been doing that before Rush got there. He's helped Ponder for years.
You know what I wanted to talk to you about this morning was, you know, like you said, he had a rough. Talking about Drew, had a rough first inning, and this was played at Lee Scott, and after that he retired. How many batters in a row?
18.
And how many were those by strikeout?
18.
I got to say I have never heard of that. I know in America and Alabama it must have happened, but let's say in Pike County, I have never heard of a pitcher striking out 18 batters in a row.
And it's unreal.
That needs to be, somebody to send that to Sports Illustrated.
You know, you've been around baseball.
Was this a poor Lee Scott team, though? What's Lee Scott's record?
I wouldn't think they were poor.
I'm not sure what the record is. They're not world beaters by any stretch of the imagination,
Yeah.
but for a team not to put a ball in play or 6 innings, you know, they've won some games, and Tim Hudson's son plays on that team, and he struck him out twice, and I'm sure he went home and told his daddy that he had a good pitcher coming.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Auburn coaching staff wasn't there watching if it was in Opelika.
I'm not sure they could have been on the road or practicing or whatever, but there was a scout there somewhere, and he was clocked at 93.
Oh man!
Not the 4th inning.
Man, oh
so
man!
He was throwing the ball well, and he threw mostly a lot of fastballs, but then he threw a change up and strike them out. And the funniest thing about that game is Lee Scott's team chattered a lot in the dugout the whole game, and I have to give them credit. I told somebody they're the happiest team getting beat 12-0. There was one kid that battled Drew. He fouled off several balls, and it got to a 3-2 count, and it was like it was tied 0-0 in the bottom of the 7th. The way they were cheering that kid to get a hit, and he ended up striking them out. And but they all was just hollering because I can't remember the kid's name, but that he had fouled some balls off.
Oh God! You've been around a long time, and you know I respect your opinion. How do you rate Drew Nelson on compared to a lot of other outstanding pitchers at Pike or in Troy or even in summer league ball?
I don't know. From what I've seen with my own eyes, I mean he rates at the top. I mean,
93 miles an hour is enough said right there. You know.
Yeah, and with his changeup and the way he can spot balls, that makes him the pitcher he is. So now I'll go back to the first game. Press Jeffcoat threw, and
this was a doubleheader then.
Yeah, it was a doubleheader, and we beat them 12-1 the first game, and he gave up the 1 run, and it may have been unearned. I'm not sure, but he threw real good. Not his top game by any means, but I was talking to the umpire between games, and he said, "Is that y'all's number one?" And I said, "Well, he's right up there." This next guy that's throwing probably our number one. Then after the game, he saw why he was the number one.
Yeah, I tell you, that is something. And Auburn's got a good one, and I'm gonna look forward to watching him play. If he doesn't get drafted, he'll probably get drafted.
I think so. I mean, are pro scouts going? Have you seen any pro scouts at his game?
Yeah, he said he saw one yesterday.
Yeah. There's been some watching around, but I don't know how. I mean, there's no doubt he'll probably get drafted at some point, but I don't know if it'll be early enough for him to forego going to Auburn.
Is 93 the best you've seen him clock?
Yeah, I think that's as high as I've heard.
And let me tell you something. There's a lot of exaggeration. There's a lot of exaggeration about how fast somebody throws the ball. If somebody throws 93 miles an hour, he is fast. Wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was being right there close. It's pretty impressive.
He's a very humble young man.
Well,
too.
Mike, we went to the state championship game last year, and I think Billy or somebody might have told us that Drew was, he's high 80s, 88, 89, might hit 90 once in a while, but sounds like to me that just like you would think, by his senior year, he's added even more velocity.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's probably gotten bigger and stronger, hasn't he, Billy?
He has. His legs are massive. I mean, he's really buffed up.
And that's where your power is anyway. If you ask pretty much anybody, where do you get that power? It comes from the legs, doesn't it?
That's what Brian Meadows. Brian Meadows had huge, strong legs.
Yeah, pitchers that last a long time that get tired is the legs, because that's what tires on pitchers more than anything. The legs start getting weak. And that's when their mechanics start getting bad. They start leaving them high, and that's when they start leaving the park. But Drew's worked hard and earned everything he's gotten. He's a workhorse.
Now, where will this next game be, Billy? Where will it be played?
It's going to be at Pike at 4 o'clock on Thursday.
4 o'clock Thursday, okay. Just one
game? Doubleheader, right?
Yeah, doubleheader. The F game will be Friday.
Yeah.
How many rounds does Pike Little always have left? You got to win this week, next week, and then you got the championship.
Yeah, there's 4 total rounds. They got a bye last week, and then this week will be the second. And Clark Treff is not a bad team. They've got a kid that's 85, 86. He'll be tough. They play the game right. We should be deeper in pitching than they are, but you never know. It's baseball, and I always go back to that game when we played Morgan. Morgan came there to get a trophy and left without one.
That was a few years back, but that was a great memory right there.
Well, that was Pike has won 2 state championships in a row. They're going for 3. And didn't the year before, didn't Pike make it to the finals or the semifinals the year before that?
I think they were in the championship and got beat.
Yeah.
Of course, this is the last hurrah for Pike Liberal Arts Athletics as they make the move to a Alabama High School Athletic Association schedule. So this is a farewell to the private school athletics at Pike Liberal Arts. What do you think of that, Billy?
Yeah, that's what I was telling somebody the other day at Lee Scott. I said, well, they'll never have another chance to beat us. It's their last chance to beat us. And they couldn't do it. And that's every game we play now. We've been playing these teams for a long time, and it's bittersweet in a way. You got a lot of friends and rivalries within all those people, and but we're going on to a new chapter, and we'll see how that goes.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I tell you, I'm looking forward to it. What happened to
it's official now too, Dad. They've changed the name because you wanted it to be Pike Academy. It's Pike Academy now.
It is.
No, it's not.
I think it'd be good to call it Pike Academy. You know, looks great. But I don't know why they're going to do that. That's their business. But now, what happened to Morgan's program, Billy?
That year they had that really good team. They just, had some kids that were good, that class, and they graduated those 4 that year. They hadn't been near as good as they were that year.
I thought they were well coached and everything. I said, I was sort of thinking that they were building sort of a dynasty a little bit.
Well, they were undefeated through like 30 games until Pike beat them. I think Morgan won the first game pretty easily, and then Pike beat them back to back.
That is a good question, Billy. Who's left for Pike Level Arts to play?
You talking about this playoffs?
Yeah, who's in the playoffs?
Yeah, the playoffs. Who made the playoffs? Do you know?
Yeah, we got if everybody wins, and I think will win, we play Clark Trail this week. Then next week we'll play Bessemer. If everybody wins, and then we'll have Glenwood.
Ooh.
Now Bessemer is really good this year also. They picked up some kids, and that's no cakewalk.
Of course, they're out of Tuscaloosa. I mean, out of Birmingham, and they get players.
Well, that's who Pike played in the final series last year. Bessemer.
That's right, and but they'll have to come to Pike. That'll be a plus. But they've not played us this year. They wouldn't play us.
They wouldn't play?
They wouldn't play. We had to cancel. I mean, last year they played us because they had to in the state championship game, but they didn't play us after our tournament. We had a game scheduled with them, and they canceled that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just a big rivalry between those two programs.
Now, so you.
Well, it's not. I mean, you say Clark Prep's a good team, then Bessemer we know is a good team, and then Glenwood has beaten Pike once or twice this year.
Did they beat us? How many times they beat Pike this year?
We split. We beat them 5-4 at Pike. They beat us 7-2 at Glenwood.
So they've got a good ball club.
Has shown their aces.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you didn't pitch Nelson. One.
North did they pitch theirs, and they've got some really good pitching, and it's going to be, if it gets to that, I hate to count chickens before they're hatched, but if Glenwood and Pike gets back to playing each other in the state championship at Patterson, that's going to be one more good series because either team can win. I mean, they're probably as evenly matched teams as you could put on the field.
Well, that's great. I look forward to that.
Doesn't make errors. If a team makes 3 or 4 errors, they're going to lose. I mean, it's just that close. And
Glenwood probably plays a lot of teams out of Georgia, don't they, during the season?
They do. We beat them one time, but we're the only Alabama team that beat them. And they're the only Alabama team that beat us. So it's going, if it gets to that point, it's people have been saying all year, Pike's got it easy. They're going to win the state championship, no problem. Well, that's as far from the truth as it can be because, Glenwood is as good a team as you will play.
Yeah.
They've got four, I think, D1 commits. The shortstop, I know, is going to South Alabama.
That's
I'm not sure where that pitcher's going, but they picked up some Russell County kids.
And that's a very good program, too.
That tells you all you need to know there.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, tell everybody about Pike Level Arts program, though, where everybody's going. I mean, Jeffco's going to Pensacola State. Nelson's going to Auburn. Your shortstop, Eubanks, is going to Georgia Southern. Who else is going to play major college or college ball?
Darrell Lee's going to Coastal South. That's in the Bruton area. And that may be it.
Let me ask you something that just intrigues me. Your pitching. It's not just Drew. You've got some excellent. Who are your other pitchers right now, Billy?
Darryl Lee does well.
Now, he's a transfer from Charles Henderson, isn't he?
Right. Will Rice has done really good this year. They put him in some good competition, and he's responded well.
He's a left-handed pitcher, and his name and he's the nephew of one Bill Rice Jr. on this show.
Yeah.
Well, he's learning from some greats. He's lucky to be on that team.
Actually, he pitched against Glenwood. You know, we beat him. He did real well. They got him in about the fifth inning. I think he had to come out because he got a line drive hit right back at him. And,
boy, that's worst thing. That's one of the worst things that a young player can have is to be hit by a line drive.
Yeah.
It's nothing funny, but it could be tough on a young pitcher.
But he's thrown some good innings. Cade Brookins, a ninth grader.
Yeah, he's a good one too.
Some good innings. Scholar kid's thrown. Let me think.
Well,
Arden Weiser.
who?
Arden Weiser.
Yeah.
But you know, those guys has done well. I mean, they've done good. You hadn't had to burn out Drew and Press.
Yeah.
And Darryl. I mean, we've had some, good depth on the staff that nobody's burned out right now.
What position does Nelson and Prestekko play in the field?
Nelson plays outfield. Press is a PO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Press will bat. He'll DH sometimes.
Yeah.
Just according to what the situation is, but I don't think he's fielded up there.
Yeah. I doubt if we've seen any better 1-2 pitchers than Jeff Cote and Nelson over the years. I don't know if the team's ever had those two pitchers of their status.
No, I mean I'm sure they have.
Trey Wright, and Marcus Bryant were pretty good side by side.
Well, who now? Trey Wright and who?
Willie Wright and Marcus Bryant were pretty good.
Oh yeah,
side by
they
side
were.
When they played together.
Pitchers. That was public schools a long time ago. You're right.
That was Dixie Boys, and that team. I saw Al Renfro the other day. He was on that team.
Yeah. Let me just say this.
No, but they played at Pike County High School together.
Yeah.
I think Trey Wright played at Jeff Davis. He lived in Raymer.
Yeah, he did. That's right. Yeah, his brother played at Goshen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wesley. But Trey was a good pitcher for Troy State.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no question. But what you're telling me is that they're gonna have a lot of depth in pitching next year, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is not going to be a bad Pike team that enters in the scheduling of public schools.
No, it's not. It's not going to be this team by no means. I mean, we're losing 3 top pitchers. I mean, that's hard to replace on any team.
Yeah.
But I'd love to have been in the Alabama High School Athletic Association the last 2 years. But we're coming in. I mean, the competition we played this year with the schedule we had in baseball, we won't play probably as hard a schedule next year in public school.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll say this, and this was not publicized like it should have. You had a big showdown game with Catholic High School of Pensacola, outstanding program in public schools, and we lost 5-2. Drew lost the game. Well, people didn't know this very well, but about 4 days down the road, they played each other again. This time, where did they play the game? When Pike turned around and beat
the Enterprise.
They caught the Catholic school out of Pensacola at Enterprise in a tournament at Enterprise, and you know what? Pike Liberal beat them 12-2, and this is one of the best public schools in Florida. Wouldn't you say?
Well, they've got a really good program and a really good team, and the way that all that happened, we were supposed to go to Mississippi that weekend, and we that was that bad weather weekend, and we had to cancel because we'd be driving right into the bad weather, and Pensacola Catholic was down playing in Enterprise. They were going to play Pike Road, Enterprise, Dothan High, some of those teams, and something happened to that because of the weather, and they knew we didn't go to Mississippi, so Rush called Coach Whidden at Enterprise and said, "Hey, we'll come and play." So they matched us up with Pensacola again.
Coach Whidden used to be the head coach of Charles Henderson High School.
Yeah, and but anyway, that's how that game got. They were seeding the game because I can't remember if it was Pike Road or Dothan. Somebody didn't show up, so they needed a game. They'd sit in the hotel all day on Friday, and so they got to play Prattville and us.
I bet they beat Prattville, didn't they?
I think Prattville beat them.
Okay.
On a walk-off.
On a walk, yeah.
So next year, what is Pike area-wise looking at? Are they going to be playing against Arrington and GW Long, or are they going to be playing against Zion Chapel, Elba, Holland Home?
They hadn't done that officially, but I'm thinking they're going to be in the Goshen, Luverne.
Won't that be
Holland
wonderful?
Home, Zion Chapel.
That's going to be some fun to watch.
So that's the better side, in my opinion, not having to play Arrington and GW Long in the area.
Now let me ask you this. Now here's the get-go. Will Pike be able to recruit players?
Yeah.
All right. Now, not like public schools. Now the public schools can't recruit, Mike.
I know, but they're a private school now.
I know. But what I'm saying is, it's going to give.
We cannot recruit no different than a public school can recruit, and I've heard this from two different people, but the heads of the Alabama Athletics Association will tell you they have more trouble with public school recruiting than they do private school recruiting.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Yeah,
they've said that. I've heard that said by two different people. That's up in the head of them. So the recruiting deal is, you've got different rules, but like you can't get a player that's going into his senior year to come to your school.
You can't?
It's not, unless he boos. Now, if he boos in, you can.
Yeah, I got you.
But that's a different rule where you could do that in an AISA, and play. But there's, as long as the kid's there by the 9th grade, you're good. So, there's kids can still come in, but you can't do it right at the last minute, stuff like that.
I was just sort of, and you can by rule, it's no different than the Providence, or any school like that. They can recruit athletes.
Right.
Of course, I got behind school in Dothan, private school in Dothan.
Houston Academy.
Yeah, Houston Academy is probably one of the first schools that you think about when you talk about, Pike moving on against some other private schools. But that's as good a program as you're gonna find, and if you can play teams like that, you're gonna have a good quality schedule.
Yeah, and see, they changed it, the way it's gonna be next year. You're gonna have more area games, and I heard somebody talking that 12 of your games, and I'm talking baseball now, will be in the area that you've got to play. So that knocks your schedule about in half because you're only limited to so many games that you can play. So you want to, pick and choose quality opponents to play. Since Pike's been talking about this public school transition, people compare us to the top public schools, and that's fine. That's where we want to be.
You're
but
right.
we could be on a public school schedule and go 30-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's some not really good public school programs
Yeah.
out.
Charles Henderson is surely not what they used to be, and I don't know. I can't see them getting any better.
Well, I mean, people say, well, there's 80 teams in 2A. Yeah, but out of those 80 teams, what percent of those 80 teams are top programs? And they talk about, well, AISA only has 20 teams, but percentage-wise, the quality of opponents is the same. And you've got more teams to help you beat those other teams than you did in the AISA.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun.
We're fixing to play two of the best teams in AISA to win a championship, and it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, I know.
And I've told y'all a lot of times, if there's one team better than you, you're not going to win a championship. No matter
You're exactly right.
1,000 teams or two teams, if your goal is to win a championship, you're not going to win it.
I know you're proud of your son and both of your sons, and what do you think they bring to the table with their overall team?
Well, Rush, being the head coach, he has just had this coaching mentality in him since he was 8 years old. I mean, it's funny just looking back the way and I've told a lot of people this, when we go to football games or whatever, and the little kids play, they'll get their football games off to the side. Rush seems to be, he was always the one picking teams and telling, which ones was going to be on which team.
Yeah.
They all listened to him. And he was a little old kid, and I'm thinking, why do they listen to him? As he got up older, he coached that post-70 team.
Yeah.
He started coaching it at about 16 or 17 when the summer he got hurt and couldn't play. Coach John Russian let him be his assistant on the younger team. And so, at a young age, he started, trying to lead these kids. And then, a couple of years later, John Russian gave him the chance to be the head coach of the older team, and he won the state championship coaching kids that he had played with the year before.
Yeah, and we're talking about quality athletes in this American Legion teams. I mean, some of the best teams that we've ever suited up were in the American Legion.
But that is unique. I mean, he's coaching kids that are basically the same age.
Yeah, and that's just a God-given talent. I didn't do anything to make him do that.
Billy, if you look for somebody that's been a great example for your son is John Rush, and he's been a quality coach for a long time in this area.
He has it. It's him and John have a great relationship. They're more like brothers. They fight all the time. Argue, I'm not saying fight, but they coach with each other and they compare notes and whatnot, and one be wanting to do one thing and one the other. It's fun for John to tell me stories about through the years of them two coaching together and how he'll call Rush hard-headed, Rush call him hard-headed. But I'd have to give John a lot of credit for taking that chance on Rush, letting him, take that program over.
And a lot of people don't realize that John, before he came to Troy, had that great American Legion team out of Tuscaloosa that they said nobody could beat. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's. He had post 34 and Ross played on post 12.
Yes.
And it always came down to post 12 and post 34 in the state championship.
Some excellent baseball there. Yeah.
I mean, 34 was just always beat them.
Yeah.
And that's where I first knew John. I didn't know him at that time, but I knew of him.
Yeah.
And he's always had those good programs. And he also coached Tuscaloosa Academy.
Yeah.
High school.
So I didn't know that. Yeah.
We would see him both, in high school and in summer ball.
But I tell you what, he's one of the better coaches that's come through here, and of course there's been a lot of them, and your boy is one of them. So
who did Rush play? Who was his high school coach at Pike Liberal Arts?
Butch Austin.
That's pretty good coach.
For a few years, then Ponder coached in his senior year.
So he got those two. Then he went to junior college. Where did he go to junior college?
Yeah, he went to junior college in LBW for a year, and Coach Helms was his coach there. And then he went to Central Alabama the second year, and a guy named Larry Thomas was his coach there. He was a pitcher, pitched a little minor league ball, and he was more of a pitching coach. So he got a lot of good coaching from him.
Well, now when he was at Troy, when he was at Troy under Coach Smart, now I've heard this. He wasn't a big guy, but he threw the ball over 90 miles an hour. Your son. Now God did not was not supposed to give him that kind of ability. What I'm saying is, a lot of people say that it's not a God-given thing to throw the ball 90 miles an hour. Well, it is a God-given thing to throw the ball 90 miles an hour. Wouldn't you say that?
It is. I mean,
you don't practice it, or you don't do anything to your arm, or other than what God has given it to you.
That's right. I mean, you can go down to the little league fields and you can watch kids throwing, and you can pick them out from a mile away.
Yeah.
The ones that's got the good arms and the ones that don't. And at that point, they really hadn't done any kind of training, but you can just pick it out. And Rush was the same way when he was little, 5-year-old. I mean, he could throw it.
Could you tell he could really throw it hard back then?
Yeah, he's always thrown it above average for his age.
Yeah.
And Ross the same way.
There's been more than a dozen coaches that have coached your son and your that right now. I don't know if any town or any part of the country, Pike County or whatever, has produced the quality of baseball that Pike County, Alabama, has produced. Isn't that true?
Well, it's right up there at the top. I mean,
what makes them? I think it's coaching. Don't you feel like it makes them that good, or what?
Dad, the greatest program in the state is GW Long. They've won more state championships than anybody.
Yeah, I know it. We're not just talking about them, but we're talking about the quality of baseball in Pike County and Troy, Alabama.
Yeah, and you mentioned GW Long. They are a great program. They've won, I don't know how many state championships, but
they've won more state championships than anybody in the state of Alabama history. That's how good they are.
Is that what it is? All right.
That's correct.
They recruit.
Yeah.
If you're a good baseball player,
those Miller boys don't recruit.
But they don't have to. I mean, I've known a lot of kids that's gone to GW Long that's lived in Dothan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Live in Ozark.
Yeah.
If you look at that area, Carroll hasn't been the dominant baseball program they should be.
But they're good. No question.
They kids go to GW Long.
That's right.
The good ones.
That's right.
So, you know, a lot of people don't realize that. But that's just a testament to the program that the Millers have, and everybody wants to go play for them. And they find a way to make that happen.
I can remember, you know, their dad, you know, just brought all kinds of baseball knowledge, you know, when he started coaching down there. You know, they started with their daddy, and then the two boys came around.
Yeah, that's right.
They both played at Troy.
But for some reason, Troy and Pike County, they produce a lot of outstanding baseball talent.
It's tradition and culture, and you know, it's passed down to dads to children, but it's always been a kind of a baseball town in my mind.
And you taught your boys how to play baseball in a cow pasture. Believe you me.
Yeah, we had several days out in the field.
I can see you hitting fly balls out there. It's so, you know, you had to watch where you stepped, though, didn't you?
Yeah. Which Coach Ward, who was my coach in high school, always told me, he said, "Billy, you need to run through the cow pasture. Maybe it'll fertilize you and make you grow."
I saw Coach Ward at Troy Fest. You couldn't see Coach Ward.
Well, you know, it's been such great.
He was a class guy. Talk about coaches, but getting back to Troy, the rec department is probably the biggest influence because they put so much time and money and effort into the baseball, and you know, it just trickles down.
You know, and the city fathers, you know, from Mayor Reeves to before him, you know, Mayor Lunsford, you know, hey, let me tell you, y'all could get it. They would give you anything you needed to win a tournament when y'all went off to the tournament in rec ball.
Oh, there's no doubt. We the first tournament team I coached, we went to the state in Fairhope, and it didn't hurt that Jake Smith was on our team, but Dan was a parent too, but he also was representing the rec department.
Yeah.
But we ate, those kids had the best meals they've ever had. We ate at all the nice restaurants, and you know, it was just a great experience for some of those kids that probably never been out of Troy.
That's right.
And, it's a lasting, you know, impression on them. But, you know, they do that year after year after year, support these teams that go out and play in tournaments and stuff.
You know, I go way back to the old gray pants and burgundy top, and you know, it's the same. I remember for years and years, Troy used the same uniform.
Those were hot uniforms
with all their tournament teams, and you go out of town, that you could hear those other folks say, "There's Troy, like, there's Troy," you know, in that same old jersey and everything. But now, I mean, it wasn't anything bad about that uniform, but now they wear the top-notch uniforms too. I mean, really are sharp.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who go on different color schemes and whatnot, but you know, a lot of them still use that traditional cardinal and white design, and that's what everybody associates Troy with.
Yeah, that's right. Sure does. I tell you, I'm just a proud bystander, and I tell you, what you and your boys have accomplished is just amazing.
You know, I moved to Troy. That's how I met everybody in Troy, is playing youth baseball. I had no friends and was kind of then baseball season pops, and man, all of a sudden I'm Mr. Popularity. But I pitched. I moved to Troy in 7th grade, and I remember everybody making a big deal of the Troy Dixie Youth Tournament team from the year before I moved to Troy went to the state tournament. Well, that was a big deal. They didn't win it, but they, I think it was Dane Griswold and that crowd. And then so it was a big deal. I said, well, I want to make that tournament team, so I made it. And then, heck, we win. You had to win the sub-district, the district, win our first couple games at state. We finished second finished runner-up in the state. And you know how a big a deal that was? WTBF broadcast our games in the Dixie State Tournament in Montgomery.
But you know, Billy.
Who was your coach that year?
Bo Gaylord was the real coach, but Eddie Barnett's daddy, Dr. Barnett, and Danny Lee's daddy, Dr. Lee, were the other three coaches.
I tell you, you hit one name. If you had to write down how successful has this program been in the last 30, 40 years in Troy, Alabama, the name you would hear would be Bo Gaylord. Bo Gaylord, wouldn't you say?
But it was a tradition. I guess I'm saying it was Troy had a tradition, and it always had a tradition. And older teams did well, younger teams did well, and then it just expanded, and it continues today.
I mean, it's just they're manufacturing players just by the dozens here in Troy and Pike County. All you got to do is look at Pike Liberal Arts and Charles Henderson and all the surrounding schools. You know,
people would. It's interesting. People would come in from outside. Now, I didn't think about it much back then, but a lot of these players are good players in Troy. They weren't from Troy. Yeah, they were from Brundage and Raymer, and all kind of guys came in and played in our youth league.
Yeah, it was very competitive.
You had a lot of playing summer ball that was from the community, not just Troy, but
yeah. You remember? Who was it? Wes Murphy. God, how good he was. He wasn't. He wasn't from Troy.
Yeah, but
Derek Freeman from Ayrton.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying, these were their best players coming out of those programs to play in our rec league.
The Wright boys, all the Wright boys were. They were from South Montgomery County.
Well, one of them pitched in the major leagues. So that was pretty good. Out of Goshen High School. We don't talk about him enough, do we?
We don't.
Billy?
He pitched 7 years, Wesley Wright.
Yeah.
Somebody, I talked to Brian Meadows about him, and he said that Wesley Wright is a front office executive in the major leagues now and is doing real well.
Man,
so he's still in baseball, just the business side of it?
Exactly right.
You asked me about Ross and Rush. I talked about Rush, what I think he brings to the table. I think just his leadership and the way he handles kids and all. And Ross, he mostly does pitching. He works with the pitchers, and he calls most of the pitches. But Ross is laid back. And he handles the kids good. And he's had some really good coaches through his baseball career also. The guy, when he walked on at Auburn, the guy that the pitching coach at Mississippi State now was his pitching coach.
That's right. Drove over every year. Drove over during the week to coach.
No, you're thinking about Ron Polk. He used to drive over.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was. He coached
Ron Polk's one of the most legendary coaches in the history of baseball.
Yeah. Foxhall. I'm talking about Coach Foxhall. He's the pitching coach at Mississippi State right now, and he was there when Ross was at Auburn when he walked on. So, he got a lot of stuff from him, but then in junior college at Southern Union, his pitching coach was a really good coach. Taught him a lot, and
And when he got to Troy, he throwing the ball hard, wasn't he?
He what? Did what now?
Well, when he got to Troy, he was throwing it real hard, wasn't he?
Yeah, but now Ross never played at Troy.
Oh, okay. I get them confused. Okay.
Yeah, Ross, he never threw it quite as fast as Rush, but he had a better curveball than Rush, and he was about 88.
Yeah.
Do your like my little nephew Will, if he's trying to learn a change up or a curveball, it's your sons that are teaching him, right? Or trying to?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they've worked with Will a lot. He's come a long way this year.
Now Will's going to get bigger and stronger, and that's going to be the key, don't you think?
No doubt. Yeah, he's that lanky, tall left-hander right now, and I was telling Bobby this one day at a game. He reminds me a lot of my nephew that's playing at Troy right now, and he was a left-handed kid coming up.
Who is that? Who is that now?
It's Logan Ross.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was your nephew.
Yeah, he's Laura's brother's kid.
Okay.
But he played all his life.
And you're right. And hey, listen, he was an outstanding pitcher out of off. I never put y'all together. That the bloodline still goes on. Is that right?
That's Laura's brother's kid.
I never realized that.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
He's a lanky lefty too.
His granddaddy and his grandmama sit right in front of me at all Troy games.
Yeah, that's right.
I did not realize that. Boy, I tell you.
Well, I'm so grateful that Will has these good coaches. Yeah. That makes all the difference in the world. To teach you the fundamentals, the mechanics, and to think like a pitcher. I mean, he's just exactly where he should be. Listen to your coaches, Will.
well, I'll tell you this. And I don't know how many times you've heard this, Billy.
And also, don't overthrow. Make sure that the kids don't throw too much. I think that's what happened to me. When I was littler, I threw way too many pitches.
Billy, I don't know if you ever heard of this, but Meadows learned how to throw a curveball from Rush Genwright. Rush Genwright taught Meadows how to throw a curveball.
I never heard that.
Yes, right. Hey, you ask him, and he'll tell you that playing ball in the front yard, they were good friends. And Rush was coaching.
I believe it.
And he taught him how to throw
he coached with Edwin.
He throws a curveball with the well, it's hard to explain it, but you throw it like that.
All the Genwrights got baseball in their blood.
Oh yeah, they are very, very good baseball people, and you can just go on and name on and on in Pike County guys that have had an influence in the baseball program of Pike County.
Well, Bob told me an interesting story this weekend at T-Day game. He's one of his best friends is Sam Drake, who's one of the great pitchers to ever come through here. And Bob said, well, Sam could throw at 92 when he was a high school senior, and he was one of the big prospects in America.
Yeah.
But that 92 isn't what Drew hit the other day at 93. But this was 1986, and that wasn't as common back then, I don't think. But Bobby says that Sam says that looking back, he said, Bobby, I never had a curveball or an off-speed pitch. And I mean, even if he could throw at 92 when he was a high school senior, I mean, he wasn't going to be really as successful as he could be.
Yeah, got to have that what's called the out pitch, because anybody can hit 92. Down the middle.
Yeah,
you're right.
And you got to have that slider, that curveball, or something that can get you out of a 3-2 count that they can't hit.
Talking about.
And I guess you got to have confidence that you can throw it for a strike, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you got to have. That's one thing on pitching. Your confidence. You got to know you're the man, and that nobody's gonna hit you when you're on that mound, and that's the attitude you got to have.
And Drew Nelson has got a lot of that. Also, and I don't know where he learned it, but his move toward first base is phenomenal. It is unreal. How many players do you think he might have picked off already this year? But
I know he picked off one the other day, not at Lee Scott, but I don't know what game it was, but he picked him off. It wasn't even close. He got him leaning, and but there's just never many people on first base.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you.
You're
Hey,
exactly right. You're exactly right. There's not many.
We're talking about pitching and fielding. Who are some of the top hitters for Pike? You got to be able to get the key hits and score some runs too. Who has been good at the plate this year?
Well, Casey Eubanks has been really good. Drew's been really good. Skylar Kidd, he's probably, I don't know, he may be leading in RBIs. He's had some big hits throughout the year. And here lately, and KC Bradford has been on fire. I mean, he is.
He's just a good athlete.
He's lighting it up. They've moved him. He's hitting in the tooth hole right now, and he's come through big.
He's a tough kid too. Yeah.
But Ardweiser, he has hit well. He's probably lead in home runs. So.
And then not only is Drew a good pitcher, he's a good hitter too.
Who are your hitting coaches? I guess your sons, but were they? I mean, do you have anybody else that kind of specializes in that, or?
Yeah, the hitting coach is Hunter Mann, and he does a good job. He played at LBW when he played college, and he actually graduated from Mosley High School in
Panama City. Yeah.
So he works with the hitters.
Yeah.
And does a good job.
Well, Billy, I know we've kept you. I tell you, we really appreciate your comments today, and we're excited about this Pike Liberal Arts team. Can it win?
What's their record, if you know, Billy? For the
I think it's 27-4-1.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're humble. They're humble enough to win another state championship.
Mm-hmm. Be humble.
Be humble.
It's not going to be easy. I'll just.
And it's going to all start this Friday at home.
At home at Pike Live Field, Charleston Field.
Yeah, well, that's going to be.
Is it Thursday or Friday?
It's Thursday.
Thursday, okay. Well,
I'm gonna come out there.
That's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and of course, I know you're awfully proud, Billy. Of what your kids have been able to do, and not only as players but as coaches.
And as role models for these kids. They're excellent role models.
And back to the Ross kid. Now, how is he related to y'all?
Nephew.
He's your nephew?
Yes. He's Laura's brother's kid, Robbie.
Yeah, and he grew up in Opp.
How's he done this year? Is he getting some good innings?
Yeah, he's done good. He got his last outing. He went out the first inning and got up and down, three up, three down. He goes back out, and in his warm-up pitches, a bad pain comes into his elbow. He said it's like a knife.
Oh, gosh.
He had to walk off the mound, but it's nothing major. He's having to sit for about 2 weeks, not throw, in rehab.
What is that ailment that almost all pitchers have had once, at least once? What is the ailment? It's called a Tommy John.
No, Tommy John's a major surgery.
Well, but a lot of people come back from the Tommy John. Some people say they come back better after the Tommy John. Is that true?
I don't know about that.
It is. Rush he didn't have full-blown Tommy John. He had a procedure that Dr. Dugas had done on some, it was a fairly new deal. Anyway, he did the Rush, and Rush came back stronger after that.
Because it's just because of that work, to get it back, they actually get it back stronger,
Tommy John will put you out there like a year and a half.
Well, I don't know.
Gotten a little shorter than that, but Rush had this surgery in June. He threw a football in September.
Yeah.
That he has Kevlar tape in his arm.
Uh-huh.
And
Well, they've been able to come a long ways, and of course, it's been very important to pitchers that they come up with new remedies and so forth. Well, Billy, thank you so much for being with us this morning. I tell you, we've learned a lot of baseball because of you, and we appreciate you.
well, I appreciate what y'all do for the high school athletics in Pike County and surrounding areas.
Well, keep
Like
us
I
up.
said
Well, keep us
before.
up. We'd love to hear from you any day to talk ball and talk Pike Liberal Arts road to the championship. And it's going to be a tough road, like Billy says. But hey, somebody's got to make it, and I can't think of anybody any better than Pike Liberal Arts School.
All right, well, we appreciate it. Y'all have a good day. Come out and see us.
All right, buddy. Take care.
See ya.
Boy,
They're gonna have Hickson meat hamburgers.
That's right.
Yeah,
Hey, he didn't invite us to eat hamburgers with him. I'd be out there.
You should have got one of those coaches or kids to bring you a plate.
No, I'd like to go to that barn. I'd like to see that barn. Let me just say this.
Maybe we should take a commercial break.
We will right after this, but I'll tell you this. That this is a fine, if you want a great example of a great American family, this Billy, his family is just wonderful, no question. We'll be back.
Great family, that's for sure.
It's easy. 29 down and drive. That's 29 down and you drive today. Or Premier will double your tax refund on a new vehicle purchase. Tax season is car season. 29 down or $99 a month and drive today. Or double your tax refund. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
Join us at the Troy Fest Fine Art and Craft Festival in downtown Troy. We have more than 100 vendors with something for everyone. From pottery, photography, glasswork, painting, woodwork, and more. We hope to see you in downtown Troy. Open Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4. Please come and enjoy a good time and celebrate the arts. Troy Fest Fine Art and Craft Festival in downtown Troy.
It's Ford Truck Month. America, you know what to do. Now's the time to get after the best deals on Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 45 years straight. Also, great offers on Ford Ranger and the new Ford Maverick. Ford Truck Month is here, so let's get after it. Get 0 for 60 plus up to $1,000 bonus cash plus a no-charge 3-year Ford Protects premium maintenance plan on F-150.
It's easy. 29 down and drive. That's 29 down and you drive today. Or Premier will double your tax refund on a new vehicle purchase. Tax season is car season. 29 down or $99 a month and drive today. Or double your tax refund. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
As good as it's not near as good as anything Vegas has.
All right, back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, again, Billy Hickson tells it like it is about Pike Liberal Arts.
Billy knows his baseball too, boy.
Well, and I'll tell you this: what he's brought to the table today was Pike Liberal better look out because there's some good competition out there. So you got to play them and beat them one at a time.
There are teams that can beat Pike Liberal Arts, and I mean you're talking about a 3-game series, so. And a lot of these teams will have one great pitcher. One great pitcher can shut you down, and you can lose one game and be in the hole in a hurry.
Exactly right. We appreciate these.
Also, going to have to maybe battle against the umpires. In this game, Pike Liberal Arts is leaving the Alabama private school forever. They're going to a public school schedule, and I would imagine they want these private schools that are staying with them to win the state.
Yeah, I hope they have
Ladies
more
and gentlemen,
integrity
you want
than that.
something good, stop by the Trojan Donuts and get some of these donut holes. Boy, holes. They're delicious.
Exciting news here for Jacksonville State football fans and North Alabama fans. The rivalry is back on this year. Jacksonville State and North Alabama playing football, and they're going to play at Toyota Field in Huntsville, Alabama. It'll be the 50th game in the series between Jacksonville State and North Alabama. It's going to be in the minor league baseball park where the Rocket City Trash Pandas play.
Cool.
That's a good name for a baseball team. Rocket City Trash Pandas is the Huntsville Double
So they're
A
playing in the
team.
minor league baseball field. Cool.
Yeah, on October the 15th, this game will be played between Jacksonville State and North Alabama. All-time series in football has been dominated by Jacksonville State. Does that surprise you?
No, North Alabama's been awfully good too, though.
I mean, Jacksonville State's 28-18-3, has won 11 out of the last 12 meetings against their in-state rivals.
I didn't realize that. No. But now you look at Troy. Troy's won way more than
Well, I
that.
bet Jackson State's played a lot of them when they were 1AA and North Alabama was Division II, so they've had more scholarships.
I mean, Florence, Alabama is a Division I town, so I'm glad they're 1AA, at least in football.
You're exactly right. They're a much bigger town than most of these schools. Like
Quad
Troy.
City, isn't it the Quad Cities?
Yeah, heck, there's
Yeah,
well over 100,000 people in that.
Florence, Muscle Shoals.
Tuscumbia?
Yeah,
It'd be interesting to see if Troy starts adding UNA to their schedule. You know, if Troy's going to play a 1AA school, why wouldn't they play UNA?
Yeah, that's right. And far as
after Jack State, that was the rival for Troy for a long time.
And and we've gone up against some very good teams from North Alabama.
Basketball, baseball, and football.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, no, North Alabama still has that line on campus. You know, they used to have a line.
They used to have a line.
They had the Tiger.
I don't think they do, because one reason it's sort of hard to keep up a line. You know.
They had a basketball coach that was real successful.
Yeah, Bill Jones would.
Yeah, and you know who that is? That is Barrett Jones' grandfather.
I didn't know that.
The great Alabama offensive lineman.
That is really. I tell you what, he was a good basketball coach at Jacksonville State.
His son Rex Jones played basketball at Alabama for Wimp Sanderson.
Yeah.
And he didn't play much, but he was on the team. And then they moved to, I guess, Nashville, and Rex Jones had 3 kids. They all played football at Alabama. You know, Barrett's the best known one.
I didn't realize all that. Yeah.
And didn't Jack State also have a coach named Bill Jones?
Yeah.
There was 2 Bill.
Right,
the coach at Jacksonville was Bill Jones. That's are you talking about the Bill Jones who coached at North Alabama?
I think each school had a coach named Bill Jones.
They did.
That's
and
right.
Both of them were excellent coaches.
I think
too.
both of them might be in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, which makes me think, why isn't Don Maestri in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame?
Is that a fact that Don Maestri is not in the Alabama?
Yeah, that's a fact. We read
Well,
all
that
the coaches.
is.
I got a lot of projects on the drawing board, but that's one of them to get Coach Maestri in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Also, looks like good news for Jameson, Williams, and John Metchi entering the NFL draft this week. Of course, you got the NFL draft starting on Thursday. Looks like Jameson Williams could go as early as the 11th pick overall.
Gosh.
John Metchi, they're saying now might creep into early second round.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know, when you were talking about
good news for those guys.
people coming back from Tommy John surgery, that's who I was thinking about. As I just read the same story on Metchi and Jameson, and the report is that both are way ahead of schedule coming back from these knee injuries, ligament knee injuries.
Yeah.
In fact, the one quote on the Metchi thing says that his rehab is going quicker than just about anybody they've ever seen in the whole sport.
Yeah.
I mean, he could almost play today.
You know, y'all were
Hey,
talking.
you saw he was actually walking on it the whole time after he got injured. You know, usually guys are on crutches, and he was walking around after the game.
I want y'all to answer my question about something, and I imagine some other people have about the portal. All right, now if Alabama gets a player off the portal, in most instances it means that a kid that's playing in Alabama has got to go.
No, not when you've
That's
lost
true.
17 in the portal.
Yeah,
Which
Alabama
Alabama has
17 players. Alabama lost another guy to the portal.
All right, Alabama's lost that many.
So Alabama has lost 17. They've gained 5. So that's a net negative 12. So Alabama ought to have tons of scholarships available, really, in my mind.
You know, that they run into the fact that they lose their numbers. You know, they still have to meet their numbers. Isn't that right?
Well, that's
Yeah,
85.
I can give you a recap of everybody they've lost.
Well, the thing about it, Alabama, since the end of last season, has lost 17 scholarship athletes to the transfer portal. Yeah. A typical recruiting class, you land 23 players. So Alabama has lost almost an entire recruiting class from just leaving.
Yeah,
I want to remind you that
Alabama's lost Marcus Banks to Mississippi State, Xavier Williams to Utah State. Alabama actually played Utah State this year. Utah State won 11 games, won the conference championship last year. Pierce Quick, a former five-star out of Hewitt-Trussville, is now at Georgia Tech. Jackson Bratton out of Muscle Shoals is now at UAB. Paul Tyson is now the quarterback at Arizona State. Jahill Billingsley is now at Texas under Sarkisian. Drew Sanders left Alabama. Outside linebacker is now at Arkansas. Tommy Brown, offensive tackle, is at Colorado. King Makutu has left Alabama as a linebacker and now is at Arkansas State. Jalen Moody entered the portal, came back to Alabama. Looks like he's going to be the starting linebacker. Shane Lee, linebacker, left for Southern Cal. Javon Baker, wide receiver, left for Kentucky. Cameron Wheaton, former five-star running back at Alabama, never saw the field, is at SMU. Agni Hall, wide receiver, transferred to Texas. Caden Clark's in the portal. As of last week, Stevan Wynn is in the portal, and then four-star safety Kane Williams got in the portal yesterday. All three of those guys have not announced new schools.
You know, that is amazing. And you know where it looks like to me? That these players are practicing and they get a call from Coach Saban saying, son, you need to get in the portal. I really believe it's like that.
Might be.
He is actually telling these kids that there's no more room for you at Alabama. You need to get in the pro.
I think they ask me, am I going to be first or second team? And they probably honestly tell them.
And they would honestly tell them that you might better get in the portal.
You're going to be a reserve.
Yeah.
But I will say this about Alabama, though, and Saban. I mean, Saban, I think, will coach another 3-4 years, maybe longer than that. But, I mean, you got a generational quarterback in Bryce Young. I mean, the guy won the Heisman Trophy. I think he realizes the window of national championships are, coming to an end eventually. And this has got to be one of his best teams coming back to win a national championship.
You know, Mike, you jump all over me when I say this. I still think that the quarterback's got to get more physical. He is not a physical quarterback.
Well, I feel like he scrambled once he started running the ball, which I think was after kind of Texas A&M. I think Alabama's whole season changed last year. He gave the defense something else to worry about.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why Alabama won the SEC championship. That's when they beat Georgia. He made those great scrambles and those great runs.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in the championship game, he lost too many athletes.
Yeah.
You lose Jameson Williams in the first quarter pretty much. You lose Metchi. I mean, Alabama was out there with a bunch of guys, they hadn't played all year.
That's right. And one thing about it, that something about Saban, you Auburn folks or whatever, this is the truth. He doesn't complain. Did you ever hear him complain about, we lost that guy? And
Alabama led that
You never heard him say that.
Alabama led that game in the fourth quarter. That tells you, how close Alabama was to win another national championship.
Yeah.
It's really amazing to me that you could lose. You lose those two wide receivers. You're both starting cornerbacks. Heck, they lost a starting outside linebacker in game one. They lost some linemen.
They lost all their running backs.
Yeah, they lost all those good running backs. You're right. Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
That Alabama team last year. I'll say it for the rest of my life. I was more happy with a team maybe ever in the history of Alabama. That team had no business playing for the national championship.
I'm with you, Michael. Really. And they, with a break, with one or two fewer injuries, who knows? They could have won another national championship.
And Mike, I really believe Auburn's going to be a very good football team next year, and I think we need to start talking about Auburn.
Let me reach out. To our cousin Brent Bedsole. It'd be great to get him on
this
week.
I'll try to do that. course, he's
I've got his number too, I believe.
All right, I'd like for you to give it. Either call him or give me that number. Of course, he's our cousin, and he's one of the coaches at Auburn now.
Well, I hope here's who the transfer portal. I hope Troy doesn't lose any key players from the portal. I think Coach Summerall's won over these players, don't you?
Yeah, and I think he's done a great job. Except, let me tell you this. Troy is going to probably lose at least one or two people to the portal because they're so heavy at running back. Right now, Troy has 6 running backs that could play, and I just don't think those 6 are going to compete against each other. I think you're going to find at least 2, maybe 3 of them get in the portal, and rightfully so.
I don't know if
they
you've
want
heard,
to play regular.
I don't know if you've heard, but Troy's moving to the Wishbone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they got to improve the running game. They got to improve the offensive line. I think the defense can be okay.
Yeah. Mike,
defense, I think is going to be lights out good. I think they're going to be really, really good.
And got a good new coach, and I think, like you said, I believe they
I don't know. Every team nowadays that's really good typically has a couple of really good receivers. I don't know who they are for Troy yet. Michael, you might know.
Right now in Vegas, the line for Troy Ole Miss is 22.5.
22.5. I guarantee it'll be way lower than that by the time they kick it off. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy, where they've got a tremendous sale going on right now on brand new Dodge, Chrysler, Jeeps, and Ram trucks. Remember this: nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody. And we appreciate you very much today, and we appreciate Forrest coming on our show. Mike Amos giving us all up-to-date information.
Yeah, beautiful weather at the beach. If anybody wants to come down, I think it's going to be sunny for like the next 10 days. It's gorgeous down here right now.
Okay, we're there.
Are there any tourists going on?
I want some of those. I want y'all.
Yeah, there's a lot of people down already. I don't know if people have spring breaks or schools were already out, or got a bunch of homeschool kids down here, or what? There's a lot of kids down here still.
Got a bunch of homeschool kids.
Hey, tomorrow let's come back and let's talk about must-buy in Twitter. That's the.
Yeah, there's a lot of people excited about that.
I am.
One of them is the former president.
Oh, is he?
Well, he's been banned, and now maybe they'll unban him.
Yeah, exactly right.
Isn't that amazing?
We appreciate all of our
You have
sponsors.
a social media company that could actually ban the President of the United States from speaking. This is amazing.
Appreciate Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Looking for a career in the trucking industry? No better place than Wiley Sanders Truck Lines in Troy, Alabama. C-Spire, now the new owners of Troy Cable. Hope you have a great a great day, and you'll be with us again tomorrow morning, bright and shiny, for Today in L.A.
Hey, Jim Jackson, Bill Jackson Ford here in Troy, Alabama, where not only can you get the best price on a new Ford, but we can also get you exactly what you're looking for. We all know inventories are low right now, but don't settle for something you don't love. Come by Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, Alabama, and let us walk you through the retail order process and get you exactly what you're looking for. So come see us at Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, Alabama, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
It's Ford Truck Month. America, you know what to do. Now's the time to get after the best deals on Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 45 years straight. Also, great offers.